When I did my features review video of the all-new Mazda BT50 4x4, I did mention that I needed more seat time with that mid-size pickup truck in order to truly test it out. Well, I now have the all-new Mazda BT50 4x4 in my garage for the past few days. So in this video, we will find out if this BT50 will give that true Mazda Jinba-Ittai driving experience, or is it just an Isuzu DMAX in fancy Mazda skin. Let's do this. Hello guys, I'm Reagan and welcome back to another truck review. If you're new to my channel, I invite you to click that subscribe button for your regular dose of Filipino automotive content. If you're my subscriber already, well, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. But first, click that like button. Also, special thanks to Mazda Philippines for lending us the Mazda BT50 4x4 for a few days to truly test it out. Now I got to feature both variants of the all-new BT50, the 4x2 and the 4x4, but in both of those features review video, well, I only got to drive both for a short while. In fact, the BT50 4x4 review video, well, I only got to drive it in circles around Mazda Philippines headquarters parking lot. It's not really enough to answer the question, does this Mazda BT50 drive like a true Mazda, or does it drive like an Isuzu DMAX? Now, in case you're wondering why I'm always referencing the Isuzu DMAX in this BT50 review video, that's because this BT50 has a shared mechanical platform with the Isuzu DMAX. It's part of Mazda's and Isuzu's joint technical partnership to develop this truck. And well, in case you're wondering again, guys, you don't have to worry because the BT50 is no stranger when it comes to these shared mechanical platforms. The previous generation BT50 shared a platform with the Ford Ranger. Now, despite the Isuzu mechanical underpinnings and the Isuzu engine found in this BT50, well, the overall design of this truck is purely Mazda. You see, it shares the same Kodo design language that can be found in the rest of Mazda's lineup. And in my BT50 features review video, I also mentioned that this thing looks like a buffed up and lifted CX-9. But then, how exactly does it drive? Well, I've had this truck with me for a few days now, so as I share with you my driving experience with it, let's go out for a short drive. Alright guys, so I'm now driving the Mazda BT50 4x4, and as I mentioned, I've had this thing for a few days already. And first off, I'd like to apologize to you all. You see, I mentioned in my first impressions video of the BT50 4x4 that it drives differently from an Isuzu DMAX. I specifically mentioned that it drives like, well, the steering feel is lighter than a DMAX. However, I did just drive it around the parking lot at that time, so it's not really a very good or accurate assessment. And now that I've driven this for a few days, well, I can tell you that this Mazda BT50 4x4 drives exactly like an Isuzu DMAX LS-E 4x4. You see, I've driven the DMAX for a week, and I've driven this for several days now, and I can tell you that the steering feel of this thing, it's also hefty. It's just like the steering feel of any mid-size pickup truck that's coming from Isuzu. So yes, the steering feel of this thing, it's exactly like the Isuzu DMAX. Now, another thing that I noticed with this thing, especially when I was driving it at night, is the fact that, well, this thing has halogen park lights on the front bumper, which is kind of weird, especially since you'll pair it with a full LED headlight system and a full LED fog light system. Now, the fact that it also has LED DRLs makes me really wonder why Mazda decided to cheap out on the park lights of this thing, giving it regular bulbs instead of LEDs. Because yeah, it just kind of looks weird if you look at it. It looks weird to have a bunch of white lights and then a solo, yellow lights there. Really weird, guys. Now, Mazda did say that they infused some Jinba-Ittai essence into this BT50, and well, I did spot one such Jinba-Ittai design thing that can be found here. It's the design of the hood itself. You see, from the driver's seat, you'll see that you have a couple of hood bulges on the front fenders, which will act like guidelines or guide sights whenever you're taking this out. Let's say if you want to take it out canyon carving. It's the same design that can be found in 4th generation Mazda MX-5 ND. That thing also has hood bulges on both sides, which act as as guide sights in case you are taking or attacking corners, and the same can be said for this Mazda BT50. It also has that, although I doubt that you will be taking this out canyon carving, or I doubt that you'd be taking this out on a track day. However, those hood bulges do serve a pretty good function here in the sense that it makes this BT50 look and feel narrower than other mid-sized pickup trucks available. The way the hood bulges point towards the center makes me feel like I'm driving a smaller pickup truck. However, guys, even if this thing feels and drives like an Isuzu DMAX, I will stand by my initial assessment when it comes to its overall ergonomics. I like the way that the steering wheel is positioned. It makes me feel like I'm driving a crossover or even a sedan. This thing has that that crossover quality to it in the sense that everything falls properly into place. Having said that, guys, it just means that this Mazda BT50 is quite easy to drive around in the city. So, despite the fact that the steering feel is on the heavy side, the fact that the hood looks smaller than other mid-size pickup trucks, and everything feels like it's well laid out, it's well thought of, and of course the premium cabin materials for a mid-size pickup truck. Yeah, this thing is going to be quite easy and sweet to daily drive around in the city. Now let's talk about some of the similarities between this BT50 and the Isuzu DMAX, and it is quite a bunch. First up, acceleration. Yeah, hear that? Woo! See, when you are accelerating at full clip, this Mazda BT50's engine noise goes inside the cabin, and it can be heard, and you could really tell that you are driving a diesel pickup truck. You know that you have an Isuzu engine under the hood here because of all the noise that it's generating. Now, Mazda did say that they put some insulation in strategic locations here inside the cabin to somehow cut and minimize some of that engine noise. But after driving this for several days, yeah, didn't really work, guys. Yes, this Mazda BT50 is still as noisy as any diesel-powered mid-size pickup truck. On the bright side though, well, the acceleration of this thing is peppy, especially for, well, a pickup. It easily picks up speed as long as you can deal with the noise. And yes, it can propel itself with gusto. It's pretty similar to the acceleration response that I also experienced with the DMAX, although this BT50 feels a tad bit lighter on its feet. The acceleration feels a little bit quicker than that of the DMAX. So yeah, I guess Mazda was able to do a bit of tuning or tweaking with the engine response of this thing to make it a tad bit more responsive than the Isuzu DMAX cousin. The fuel consumption of this Mazda BT50 is also pretty similar to the Isuzu DMAX 4x4. When I'm crawling around in city traffic like what we're going through now, I was still able to get 8.6 kilometers per liter at an average speed of 20 kilometers per hour. However, when things opened up and I was able to take this BT50 out on the open highway, I was able to get, well, 15 kilometers per liter, but then my average speed for that was only 60 kilometers per hour. When it comes to the handling and the suspension comfort of this BT50, well, it is quite refined for a mid-size pickup truck. On smooth asphalt roads that we have right now, well, it doesn't judder and jitter too much. It feels like a regular mid-size SUV to drive. Now, when I take it out to, let's say, an uneven paved road like EDSA or some back roads that have some potholes in them, well, the suspension would also have some play in it, and that would tell you that you are still driving a mid-size pickup truck. So, it is quite refined for a mid-size pickup truck, but, well, here's the thing, guys. That's exactly the same thing that I said about the Isuzu DMAX when I reviewed it. So, yeah, it's practically identical to the Isuzu DMAX when it comes to the suspension handling and comfort. Now, I've only had this thing for 4 days, so I didn't really get a chance to take it out to my off-road trail, my off-road playground. So yeah, I couldn't really tell what sort of performance this thing can do on an off-road trail. However, I did take the Isuzu DMAX 4x4 on an off-road trail, and I do know that it is more than capable for a truck that doesn't have a rear locking differential. The thing is, this BT50 has a rear locking differential, so I could tell you with confidence that this Mazda BT50 4x4 will perform so well when it comes to an off-road trail. In fact, I even believe that this Mazda BT50 4x4 will beat its Isuzu DMAX cousin on an off-road trail, mainly because of the presence of that rear locking differential. I mean, imagine getting a 4x4 mid-size pickup truck for less than 1.8 million Philippine pesos. I'd even go as far as saying that for less than 1.7 million Philippine pesos, because remember guys, this Mazda BT50 has a 5-year free PMS package from Mazda Philippines, and that's over 100,000 pesos worth of value. So yeah, imagine getting a mid-size 4x4 pickup truck for less than 1.7 million Philippine pesos, and it comes with a locking rear differential. It can't get any better than that, guys. Alright guys, so now it's time for us to answer the question that this video is all about. Does this Mazda BT50 drive like an Isuzu DMAX in fancy Mazda skin, or does it drive closer to one of the Mazda CX series in Mazda stable? Well, if you've been listening to me the entire time that I've been filming this video, you probably already have an answer to that. You see, this Mazda BT50 is a full-blown off-roading 4x4 pickup truck. So yes, it drives closer to the Isuzu DMAX 4x4. Mazda's CX series are unibody SUVs, guys. So yeah, it's more refined than this thing. But then this Mazda BT50 is as refined as any mid-size pickup truck you can get. In fact, it's more refined. It's more refined than any of the mid-size pickup trucks you can get in the local market. While the Mazda BT50 may feel and drive like an Isuzu DMAX on the road, it is a DMAX in a tux. You can take this thing out to a hotel driveway to attend a formal event, and it will not look out of place. However, when that formal event is done and it's time to kick off those leather Oxford shoes in favor of boots and do some rough and tumble off-road work, well, this Mazda BT50 is equally capable. Mazda successfully merged its gorgeous Kodo design here with a sturdy mechanical platform, thereby creating what could be the perfect lifestyle truck. It's not that big and burly that you'll have a hard time driving it around the city, but when it comes to an actual challenging off-road trail, well, this Mazda BT50 can keep up with the baddest stock trucks available in the market today. It's essentially an Isuzu DMAX in Mazda skin, but then again guys, that's not really a bad thing. In fact, it could even be the best of both worlds. Thanks for watching.